What's up, everybody? Jeremiah here. In case you're wondering, this is my Black Panther shirt. It's the first cover for Black Panther that Marvel Comics had. It's one of my favorite shirts. One of the biggest things that I've found that I want to talk about today is how people don't do certain things based on fearing how they might be perceived by other people. And they're letting their fear keep them from their destiny. They're allowing their fear to prevent them from reaching a higher level of where they're going. I see people so often, they have an idea, they have a vision of where to go, and then fear overtakes them. They're worried about how they might get misperceived, misunderstood by somebody, or maybe somebody might take it out of context, or they're not learning, growing, educating themselves on what needs to happen. And this is preventing themselves from walking out their calling and destiny. And so they're letting fear keep them from their destiny. It's time to stop that. It's time to stop letting fear keep you from going where you said, Sarah, that's funny. Keep you from going where you want to go. I actually told Sarah that, who just commented on here. Don't let fear keep you from what you are destined to do, what you're called to do, what you were made for. And yet so often we worry about speaking up, saying something, going somewhere, asking a question, making a connection, making a phone call, writing an email, making a blog post, making a video, making content, writing a book, because we're worried about, are they going to perceive me the wrong way? Or this one's hilarious. I've actually found some people are worried about the legalities of if they say something a certain way, they might be in some legal trouble, or in a religious setting, they're worried about how they're going to be perceived by, their leaders. Now, there's some honor, there's some respect, there's some integrity that's involved. I'm not talking about checking your integrity at the door. I'm not talking about dishonoring people. But what I am talking about is leaving fear behind, getting rid of the fear and the shame sensor inside of your brain that is telling you, don't do this. Now, it indicates it's good. You can also use it for an indicator. The feelings of fear and shame are very similar to excitement, enthusiasm, and joy. They feel very similar. And so what will happen is shift it. Those things that you normally are afraid of, those things that you're like, I'm so afraid of this, shift it and say, wow, this is exciting. The fact that I'm feeling this shows that I'm onto something. The fact that I'm feeling this shows that I'm headed towards my breakthrough. Stop letting other people's opinions and what other people think about you and seeing yourselves through the eyes of someone else control your life, and instead choose to create your life. Listen, there's outside circumstances. There's government. There's people. There's systems. There's structures we live in, and we live in them every single day, and yet you can choose to have your best life no matter what situation you're in. You can choose whether you're in another country somewhere, a third world country, or you are in the United States of America, where we're provided so many freedoms to be happy, to be grateful, to not let fear and shame and doubt and comparison control you, and instead step out and step into what you were made for. And I believe that there's a freedom on this for people. As soon as you step into that joy, step into that flow, that dream flow, and not let your fear keep you from your destiny, the impossible is unlocked in your life. And yet, sorry, I'm getting choked up by this. Many people in the world today live in absolute crippling fear. To not offend people, to not say what's on their mind, to not ask for help. They're afraid to ask for help for something because they're afraid of how they're going to be perceived as either weak or not. Stop letting your fear keep you from your destiny. Okay? So I'm going to stop this video here, but I'm going to make some more videos. If you're letting fear today keep you from going where you're called to go, Give the fear a cease and desist notice and say, you have no authority here. You have no power here. And then walk out your calling and destiny the way that God made you, the way that God made you to be. Unique, individual, not a copy of other people, but specifically destined for greatness. Success is possible for everybody, and success is not measured by the measure of what we compare around us. And yet we let fear, and we're comparing ourselves. We're comparing our life to someone else's success, someone else's dream, someone else's identity, and trying to put it on as ourselves. And we do that because of fear, because we're afraid that if we don't look like them, we don't talk like them, we don't walk like them, that we're not going to reach our destiny, and we take a lesser portion, a lesser life because of this trying to copy and not be who we were authentically made to be. You were made with a purpose and with a calling, and you're individual and unique. You're not like anybody else, and you're not made to be like anybody else. And so what you say, other people might not agree with. They might not get. They might not understand. They might even think that you mean something that you don't. And perception is important. How you're perceived by people is important when it's in a public sense. But that's where communication and conversation comes up, and refining our message and making sure that the words are wise, that we're using wise words, that we're studying, that we're showing that we're studied, that we know what we're talking about. You know, if there's a legal situation, getting some legal backing even on it. That's what attorneys are for. In business, I find one of the biggest reasons many people are afraid is sometimes for legal reasons. In a spiritual setting, they're afraid that they haven't, earned the right to speak on these things. In an invention setting, in their dreams, they're afraid, they haven't proven themselves enough to press into a concept, that they haven't proven it to the marketplace enough. And so they haven't been validated enough to be worthy to do great things. And many people feel that way. And I know that because I felt that way for a long time. And now moving out of it and growing out of it and realizing the great, bright, beautiful world that's in front of me, that we're made for more. There's more to this life than just going to work 9 to 5, that there's more to this life than just playing video games and watching Netflix. And by the way, those are two of my favorite personal pastimes, is watching Netflix and playing video games and watching movies like Black Panther. And yet we're so afraid, and we're letting fear keep us locked in instead of speaking up and communicating and talking and letting our voice affect the world. It only takes one person's dream combined with action to change the world and make it a better place. There's 7 billion people on the planet Earth. And all of us are made uniquely and individually. And if we can work together, we can all make the world a better place. And if we can empower people to not be afraid, to walk in what they were made for, empowering people to do what is kind, what is gracious, what is loving and caring and upright and honorable, and do so with authority, and do so unashamedly, and do so without fear, we can walk into our destiny and calling and what we were made for. It's time to stop letting fear keep you from your destiny, and it's time to walk it out, and it's time to spend some time in prayer and meditation. That's the only way I get any of this. That's the only way, is prayer and meditation. So spend some time with yourself personally. Don't let fear keep you from your destiny. You're made for more. You're made for greatness, and you got this. Grow your life, everybody, and we'll talk soon.